Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on liquid air, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, good people? I'm just hanging out. Happy Friday to you. Round 2 of the draft. Just been checking it out. I've been working on graphics and videos. I done put together 2 videos. What's up, the Bull? Carlos, first out the limo. I appreciate you as usual. What's good, my guy? There ain't nothing going on. I'm just chilling. I just want to see this second pick. Jahad Campbell came down. I confirmed. I called my guy, or I texted him this morning, and Jahad actually played with my nephew at high school, at Timber Creek High School. So it was a lot of buzz around the GT Stallions community today. And oh, look at Bo Allen. Eagles selection is walking out. Let's see what we got. Selection made, Andrew Makuba. Okay, okay. There you have it. Let's see what it looks like on television. New York is still on the clock. Man, this is crazy, dude. I feel bad for Shador. I feel bad, but I don't feel bad. Because, I mean, there's somebody like Shador every year. There's somebody like Shador every year. So we got a nice little safety in there, but I got a feeling Sidney Brown is going to do what he needs to do. I'm not even worried about that. As far as I'm concerned, Sidney Brown is our starter until somebody comes in and takes his job. I like Sidney Brown. I like the physicality. I like his speed. Yes, he gets a little bit over. He can get overextended and moving too fast. So New York is on the clock. Why does it say they still need a quarterback? Didn't they draft a quarterback before? So New York is on the clock. First pick in the 3rd round. And let me see. Who did nope. Yeah, I did honestly, I didn't even watch much of it. Jackson, that's what I thought. They got Jackson Dart. So why does this still get a quarterback listed for on ESPN's DraftCast? Oh, maybe it means they checked it off. Okay, I don't know. So, oh God. Yeah, the 2nd round was rough, man. 2nd round was rough. You just keep watching. I got it muted. I at this point, I just want to see what Howie was going to do. We got a nice little safety. Like I said, I just said it. I still like Sidney Brown, and I'm good with that. He'll come back from his knee injury, so he'll be ready to rock and roll. So, and we'll see what's next. This is when Howie does his best work in third through 5. He's getting the diamonds in the rough and all that type of stuff, man. So we good to go, man. So I've been here grinding. I've been watching it, but watching it from the side, trying to see if Shador was going to get picked. When the Saints didn't pick Shador, and I thought the Raiders might get Shador in the 2nd round, and they didn't, I think the Raiders might end up getting him, but they might just wait it out. They might just wait it out. The Raiders are the fourth pick in the third round. They can take Shador there. Because now it's coming down to which other teams need a quarterback. Pittsburgh could get him with the 19th pick. I think the Raiders are crazy if they're going to stick with Derek Carr. Let me say that right now. I think they kind of crazy if they want to do that. But stranger things have happened. And I figured that the Raiders would want to get Shador because Shador spent all of that time with Tom Brady. That's why that first year up there, he looked so good. The reason why Colorado lost that first year up there is because Colorado had no defense. None. Their defense got much better the second year, but they still had holes. They still had an average at best offensive line. And their defense was better. But they didn't have no hogs. Yeah, the Raiders have Geno. What's Geno's deal though? What did he sign for? Like a 2-year deal? Because you would figure Geno ain't gonna play forever. Geno was old. They got to get somebody in there, and Geno is not the most durable guy. So somebody, yeah, Carlos, you're 100% right. They're gonna get him cheap. Who the Giants getting? Darius Alexander from Toledo. Okay. Oh, they extended him. What did they extend him? It is what it is. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. A 2 or 3 year contract. Okay. Okay. We'll see what they got. We'll see what they got. The best thing they got going. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to who's going to be healthy. Who's going to be healthy? And let me see something real quick. Let me see. Geno Smith. Geno Smith has got to be. Geno Smith is 34, y'all. Come on now. Geno Smith is 34 years old. They better get some new blood in there. Let me see something. I want to see Geno's like career stuff. Just Seattle. Okay, he played all 17 games last year. Okay, last 3 years he's been durable. Last 3 years he's been durable. He did a lot of backup work for a little bit. The Eagles move up for what? For who? But at this point, it's so everything is so wonky and everything is so fluid. I don't know who they looking for. I don't know who they want. And this is where, and this is just me. I trust Howie implicitly. He got my utmost confidence that he's gonna make the right pick. So I don't even worry about it, to be honest with you. I'm quite sure Howie's got somebody in mind and we're gonna keep it moving. Because again, we are reloading. Now I ain't gonna lie. I hated to see Donovan Ezzy go to Dallas. I did not want to see him in Dallas. That is a good kid. I think that kid's got a bright future. He's got a motor on him. He's the right kind of guy. I said it before. He's the guy that you want to take your daughter, your sister to the prom. That's the type of dude he is. Let's see if the Browns come back up against Shador in the third round. That would be a steal. Let's see. Let's see what they're talking about. And I don't know if the rumors were true where Shador said there was a bunch of teams that he didn't want to talk to. Um, I don't know how true that is. I think somebody may have just been putting that online just to slander. And let's say it is true. Didn't Eli Manning do the same shit? Didn't John Elway? I guess not as bad, but I hope the Steelers get him now too. I hope the Steelers get him. But we'll see. And let me be honest with you, I ain't gonna be on here long. I just want to see these picks. We're gonna rock and roll for about an hour. I got some other stuff that we can talk about. We can always jump back into the NFL, man. I just released 2 videos today on I did one video on my Elijah for Wiley. I did another video. I released it early this morning. I think I was up to almost 3 o'clock in the morning finishing this other video about the draft, about Jihad. And I released that this morning. So I put out a short, a women's basketball short, the Malaysia for Wiley video about her transferring to LSU, and then I did one on Jihad. So I think the next video I do is I'm gonna do a draft recap. I'm still working on the video about the tush push because that's been dumbed down because of the draft. But you know that information is gonna pop up in a hot second. They're gonna be talking about that again in a minute. So they have the complexion for the protection. You know what it is, man. You know what it is. So, because I ain't gonna lie, I've never liked Eli Manning because of that, and I remember that vividly. And I was like, well, wait a minute, when when was it okay to break the rules? When was it okay to when when were you? I guess I didn't think he was good enough where he could tell teams, I don't want to play for you. That's how Drew Brees got his start. Because Drew Brees did work in San Diego, and then they moved on from him, and then he went to the Saints and won a Super Bowl. But I just vividly remember because that was Peyton's brother, and he was not as good as Peyton, and it was like, why does he get to choose where he can go? Why does he get to tell people? And then it was like NFL royalty, the Manning family, and stuff like that. And I was like, hold on now. There's been plenty of legacies in the league, and they ain't never done nothing like this before. The only person I remember trying to call his shot was John Elway. Because I think John Elway was gonna go back and play baseball. So the Browns gonna stay with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. Man, they better get Shador up in there and stop bull jiving. Go ahead and make that pick. Get him. You get a steal in the 3rd round. Shador some people had Shador as the number 1 pick, the number 1 quarterback in the draft. He's at least top 3. No. Oh, they got Harold Fannin Jr. Oh, they kept him at home. That's a good pick. They kept him at home. He's from Bowling Green. Bowling Green right down the street from Cleveland. That's a good pick right there. They got to use him though. He's not a tight end. He's a wide receiver playing tight end. He's a playmaker though. I like Harold Fannin. I don't know how good he blocks though. He's a playmaker. I don't know how good he blocks. Because we were going back and forth with that a lot. And I always wanted Terrence Ferguson. But again, man, it just goes to show all these mock drafts and we don't know jack. We don't know jack, man. So that's a good pick by Cleveland. Cleveland having a good draft. All right, Las Vegas. Las Vegas still got a shot to get Shador. I don't think that's going to happen, though. And again, the only reason I'm saying Shador got a chance in Vegas is because of Tom Brady. That's it. That's it. Carlos, you got family out in Cleveland? Okay. My wife got family out there too. I lived in Cleveland for like 8 months when I was little. We lived in Aurora, Cedar Point, and Geauga Lake all day, bro. we were in transition. My dad worked for Ford at the time. We moved to Aurora. We stayed in Aurora for 8 months. Then he got another promotion, and then we moved to St. Louis. And then we stayed in St. Louis for 5 years. Then we moved back home to Cincinnati, where I was born and raised. So, who did the Raiders take? Darian Porter, Iowa State cornerback. Okay. Yeah, I've been to Cedar Point, man. Cedar Point and Geauga Lake. We was little. We was little. This was like 77, 78. So Geauga Lake was a little bit milder, but me and my sister, we grew up in Cincinnati, so we was Kings Island all for it. So we was good with the roller coasters. So we was down with Cedar Point. Yeah, I've been some places, man. I've been some places. My boy from one of my teammates from he was one of my teammates in the World League. I think today is the anniversary of us winning the World Bowl in '96. So he posted a bunch of videos. I'm trying to find it. I'll play it for you. Let me see. I know it's in here somewhere. Big Wags. Where's he at? I'm gonna find it. Because it was the celebration after we won. I'm not even sure if I'm in that or not. Now I ain't gonna be able to find it. Watch. WAG. Julian Keith. There we go. Yeah, man. Everybody getting it in. Everybody getting it in. Everybody is most of the teams been having a relatively decent draft. Here we go. I'll play this in the background. I don't even know if I pop up in there because Keith was one of our captains. That's Jim Kreiner. He was our head coach, and this is when they were actually giving us a trophy. It was a big trophy, like it was a big glass globe, like of the Earth for like the World Bowl. So we had this big glass trophy. Thing was heavy. Two things about 10, 15 pounds. That's old. Neil Austrian, president of the NFL. You know how long ago that was? That was a long time ago. RC said he getting restless with Shador. Yeah, I don't think Shador might end up in like the fourth round or something, fourth or fifth. At this point, it's just embarrassing for him. But ain't no way he should have been. He should have been in the first round for sure. But again, this happens every year. This happens every year. So ain't nothing you can do. It is what it is. So whoever that anonymous uh, GM was that said he didn't like Shador's interview skills, I bet he happy now. Deion threw his hat at least 5 times by now, probably. But let me be honest with you, Deion know the game. He know what's real and what's not. He know they're hating and ain't a damn thing he can do about it. Listen. I say this all the time. I don't care what league you in. When you get to that pro level, you got to learn how to play the game, and the game ain't fair. And I say this all the time. There are plenty of people that are in the league that shouldn't be, and there are plenty of people that should be who are not. So it is what it is. Nothing you can really do about it. Um, yeah, it just sucks because it's him, and he's got so much, hype behind his name and all that type of stuff. So, and here's the other part. Here's the other part. So now you're looking at rounds 4, 5, and 6. So when somebody finally does pick him up, or the possibility exists that he might end up going to somebody's camp as a free agent, which means he gonna be buried 4 or 5 on the list on the depth chart. So then he might not even get a legitimate shot to play, and that'll be a shame too. So, I mean, that's I mean it's suspect. It's suspect. So especially with the Giants, um, because when you with the Giants, you if you're gonna take the best player available, and are we just gonna assume that they were just absolutely in love with Jackson Dart? I'm not buying that, not one bit. But somebody said something that was interesting, and I never looked at it this way. And I'm trying to think who said it. Was it Baldy? It wasn't Baldy. I think it may have been Colin Cowherd. It may have been Colin Cowherd, and he said you got to be careful when you pick these quarterbacks when the names get hot after the combine. Nobody was worried about them during the season when it mattered. All of a sudden, they have a good workout and the name gets hot. They have a good workout and the name gets hot. Before then, wasn't nobody even worried about it. So it's like, be careful of those people because they didn't warrant enough attention when it mattered during the season. And that's legit. And he rattled off about 5 or 6 names of quarterbacks. And the same thing. Now, we don't know if Jackson Dart going to be any good. We don't know if the kid from Louisville is going to be any good. But I agree. I really hadn't heard much about them until it was draft time, which means you weren't paying attention at all to them during the season. So that was legit. That was legit. So we'll see what's going to happen, man. He's still got a long way to go. Um, and Shador keeps falling. And that's a shame. Because let me be honest with you. The shameful part is whoever took Shador, if they would have taken Shador in the first round, that'd have been box office gold. That'd have been box office gold because you would have had equal parts people that wanted to see him survive, like thrive, and people wanted to see him fail. But everybody was going to show up for the train wreck. Everybody was going to show up because immediately he's polarizing, and when you polarizing like that, both parties are still coming to the show. It don't matter if it's negative or positive when everybody's buying tickets. You know, you see what I'm saying? So it'd have been box office gold wherever he would have signed. And I think even now, whoever decides to sign him, if he gets the opportunity to play, it's going to be box office. But the criticism is going to be high. Everybody's going to nitpick him, and it is what it is. RC, I don't know. That's the kid from Louisville. I know he's 6'4", so he got the build. He got again, we can have this conversation about the check boxes. Some people ain't looking for the best quarterback. Some people looking for the best built quarterback. They can give a damn if you can throw the ball. They want you to check all the boxes. They want to be, you got to look like Josh Allen. Why you think, us here in Philadelphia, why you think we so sensitive about Jalen Hurts? Because they said the same thing about Jalen Hurts. The same thing. Now, it's funny because now you're just now hearing stories from former players. Torrey Holt, Alshon Jeffries. You just now hearing stories. I saw one today. This was on TikTok, I believe. I don't even know who the interviewer was, but it was Alshon Jeffrey. I didn't even recognize Alshon Jeffrey. He got braids and everything now. Hair is long. He had the short buzz cut when he was with the Eagles, but in any case, he was saying the minute Jalen Hurts arrived in camp, everybody knew he was different. It's been like 3 or 4 people that said the same thing. When Jalen Hurts got to camp, they knew he was a problem. And he said, and the only thing he did was just get better and better and better. Jerome, I don't know who Shador pissed off. I don't put too much stake in what the anonymous source said about interviewing bad. I don't think anybody really interviews bad. It's basically, do you like them or not? And some people went in with a predisposition. Johnny Manziel was a bad interview. there's been plenty of people that did horrible interviews and still got drafted high. Not to mention all the people with quote unquote character issues that still got drafted high. So you never know. Who did he piss off? I don't know. I don't know. I think honestly, I think because they didn't like the show and the bravado and all of that type of stuff. Um, I think a lot of people walked in the meeting expecting the bad behavior, and the smallest thing, you know, the smallest thing they'll go off on, or they'll ding them on, or you got some of these guys that's literally they walking in with a white glove. Anything you say wrong will be used against you. So what's up, bro, Claude? It could be personal. I don't know, but when you at that level, everything is personal because one conversation with an owner. Because think about it like this: whoever that GM is, the anonymous GM who put that out there that he didn't interview well and it was the worst interview that he had done in his life. My next question is, well, how many interviews have you done in your life? How long have you been a GM in your life? There's a lot of questions that go with that, but everybody's just taking the headlines and they running with it. And it could be somebody with an axe to grind because he could have said nothing. How come it was only one person to come out and say something like that? Where there's smoke, there's fire. So if that was being said in multiple circles, maybe you would think a little bit different. But again, I could probably go back. Matter of fact, that might be a good video to work on. Do some homework on. Go back and you look at all of the pre-draft rhetoric and the pre-draft process, and some of these guys that had, I guess, bad interviews is what you want to call it, but still got drafted. So at the end of the day, if somebody wanted them bad enough, they would have got him. If somebody wanted them bad enough, they would have got him. So, Landon Jackson went to Buffalo. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. So, hey, man, political Lil, I like that. I appreciate that. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. And we do have memberships. Memberships are available. Become a member. I'd appreciate it. I'm still on board. I'm still got a goal to reach 10K by my birthday in July. So I'm working on that. So tell all you people, tell everybody on your job to subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. I would appreciate it. Trying to get big. What's up, Bam Man 100? Just joined. Do I like Makuba? Makuba was not high on my list, but I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player. There were other safeties that I was looking at, but he's a good player. Let me see. What's his whole name? Let's go back to round 2. Andrew Makuba. Let's see. Let's see what his rankings were. Oh my God. Oh. Why do I not see him? Did I spell his name wrong? Andrew Mukuba. Ha. Mukuba. Mukuba. There we go. Texas. 5'11", 186. I ain't gonna ding him for an inch. I like to see I wish he was a little bit heavier. I like guys in that right around 200, 205. Rather see him right at 6 foot, but again, I'm not gonna ding him for an inch. But I would like to see him just a tad bit heavier. But he got 4.45 speed, so he can cover. Is he physical? I don't know much about the kid. Is he physical? Can he make tackles? He's got a 73% in tackling, which is not bad. Let me bring y'all into this. Uh-oh. Oof. I was playing around with some stuff. Let me there we go. You know what? Let me move myself up. I gotta get me like a circle so I can put myself in a circle. That way I don't block everything. There we go. So yeah, he looks like he's a pretty good player. Pretty good player. 83 out of 100. And of course, all of these are opinionated based ratings. Good comps from Zimbabwe. Um, First true freshman defensive back to start a season opener since 1972. Immediate impact in the ACC defense. Rookie of the Year honors and multiple freshman All-American honors over 3 seasons. 149 tackles, 20 pass breakups, no picks. I mean, that's all right. 100%. 30-inch wingspan, hands 9, 44.45. I mean, I ain't mad at it. Explosive athlete with elite and change of direction ability makes him a menace in coverage. Watched him mirror a slot receiver step for step against Georgia before breaking up a crucial third down pass. Okay. I mean, he got good stats, good highlights, but we'll be okay. I think he'll be all right. I'm at the point now. It doesn't matter who we get on defense. As long as Vic Fangio is one of our coaches, we are good to go. We are good to go. I got Vic Fangio and Jeff Stoutland are on the same level in my book because everybody they get, everybody they coach gets better. Everybody they coach gets better. So, yeah, the Giants D line they had a pretty decent pick, but the one thing that I figured out is you got to pump your brakes on the. Everybody's not going to be good. Everybody's not going to be good. So we'll see what happens. You still got to play the game. So we got the best linebacker in the draft. That's something. So now we got Zach Bowen and Trot Jr. and Jihad. So we got a Georgia, Alabama defense, basically. So I like the way things are looking. Zach Bowen and Jihad Campbell back there. And then the only thing we got to address is I still think we need another defensive lineman. I thought we were going to try to jump up to get Walter Nolan. Didn't happen. But again, I'm not complaining about Jihad Campbell. That joker is a beast at linebacker. And this is the first time I remember how we drafting a linebacker. Number 1? We drafted a linebacker number 1. So the only thing we got to worry about now is staying healthy. That's it. You got the right player. You got the number 1. Some people were saying if he hadn't had the labrum issue, he was the best defensive player in the draft, Walter Nolan included. So, I mean, he was hurt and he was still ranked the first or the second best linebacker in the draft. So I like the way they went. Jihad's a homeboy. I like that he came home. Keep your homeboys home. That's what I say. That's what I say. Braden's ooh, I can't see. Man. Kid from LSU, 6'4", 255, 4.8 40 time. Not bad. Not bad. Normally 4.8 would be good for a defensive end, but since we got defensive ends running 4.5s and 4.4s, I'll just say not bad. But so we'll see. We'll see. What was his ranking? Did he get an RAS score? 85.9 out of 100. Not bad. Yeah, man. Jihad, Jihad is a good kid, man. He played with my nephew at Timber Creek. Um, he was supposed to go to Clemson, and he flipped at the last minute and ended up going to Bama. Made the right decision. So, um, I was saying in the video I did earlier that one of the things that Jihad in any rookie on any team, and this is based on my experience when I was a rookie in the league. Um, the best thing you can do to make a team. Now it's different from low draft picks. I was an undrafted free agent, and I made the squad with the Eagles as an undrafted free agent. That is very difficult to do, but I did it. But the best thing you can do as an undrafted free agent or a low draft pick, the fastest way to impress is to know the playbook. Now, back when I played, back in my day, they gave us the good old 3-ring binder. And if you lost that 3-ring binder, that was a fine for you. That was like a 5-10 grand fine. I believe it was $5,000 if you lost that playbook. And we did have people lose it, whether they left it in the car, because you got a draft pick, and they went out clubbing and they left the playbook in the car, and their car got broken into, stupid stuff like that. Yes, it did happen. But you got to know the playbook. That's the best way to learn the team. Because even if you don't get many reps, if the coaches will know you know the playbook, other players will know you know the playbook, because other players will ask you what to do on certain plays. So if you know everything, if you know the playbook and everybody's asking you what to do, because don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. Everybody is not your friend when you go to camp. There was some situations when I was in camp. I'm a rookie. I don't know nothing. I'm asking guys, what do I do on this play? Guys are telling me to go the wrong way on purpose, because you got to think about it like this. I'm after their job. Why would they help me? You got a job with a 6-figure salary, sometimes 7, and somebody's asking you for help, and they might take your job. Would you help them out? That's the mindset. It's a little bit different now. Now there's no 3-ring binder. Everybody got iPads. You can tap into the network. You can look at plays. You can study plays at home. You can load your plays up on Madden, and you can do all kind of stuff now to help you study and understand what you get. We didn't have that. We had to literally go through a book, and it was 12. It'd be anywhere from 12 to 14 plays on one page front, and then another 14 on the back. And I always remember, I reported to camp a day late. One day late. Camp started on, I think camp started on Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday was rookie camp, right after the draft. Camp started on Friday. I got there Saturday morning because I had a final I had to finish because I was going to graduate on time. And I was like, can I take my final? And they were like, sure. But I remember getting up in there, got everything, I signed, blah, blah, blah. I get in my first meeting. The coach gives me, at that time, it was about a pack of paper. It was like 20 deep, stapled together. Again, I'm old school. Stapled together. And like I said, it was like maybe 10 to 14 plays on each side. And he lays down one pack of paper. He was like, this is what we're going over today. Then he slaps down another paper and he goes, this is what you missed yesterday. And of course, my head is spinning because I'm like, what is this? And then you got to go into, when I was in college, the football holes were 0 was at the center, 2, 4, and 6 was to the right, 1, 3, and 5 was to the left. And you go to some offenses where they have that reverse. 1, 3, and 5 is to the right, 2, 4, and 6 is to the left. So then you got to worry about that. Then you got to worry about offensive defense, not offensive defense, but strong side, weak side. We didn't have a quote unquote fullback. We had an A back and a B back. And whether you were the halfback or the fullback on the play was only determined by where you lined up. So if I'm lined up on the right side and the tight end shifts to the left, I become the A back. I become like almost like the tailback. And whoever's on the left, they become the fullback. Nobody wanted to be the B back because the B back always had the block. So I got blitz pickup and all of that type of stuff. So it was crazy, man. They throw a lot of stuff at you, bro. A lot of stuff at you. Brooklyn, I'm not hating on Shador, man. Definitely not hating on Shador, bro. Oh, you asking why are they hating on Shador? Yeah, that's a good question, bro. They don't like his personality, man. That's the only thing I can come up with. They don't like his personality. That's the only thing I can come up with. They didn't like his personality so much that nobody wanted to draft him. I've never seen it this bad because again, I've seen some people that were involved in some crazy because think about again, you could probably go back on YouTube and you can find this. Think about how many people. It doesn't happen as much now because of social media, but just imagine how many people were drafted and they had uh, essay investigations going on. All the stuff that you hear that is labeled under red flags now. That shit used to happen all the time, and guys used to get. They didn't care. They didn't care. Look at what happened with Tony Mandarich. Everybody in their mother knew Tony Mandarich was on steroids. If you don't know who Tony Mandarich is, look him up. Again, we going back to the late 80s and 90s. But Tony Mandarich was basically the poster child for steroids at that era because everybody knew he was on steroids. And when he got to the league, he got off the steroids because he knew if he was still on them, they were going to catch him. But you can't just turn it off like that. But the testing process was a lot different back then. So needless to say, he passed the test, but he couldn't keep juicing. And he was horrible in the league because he couldn't keep that size and he couldn't keep his strength. And you got some boys that were all natural that was whooping his ass. And they got exposed. Now, years later, after he was out of football, he came clean with it. But to me, that was the same as like the whole Mark McGwire thing. Everybody knew steroids was going on in baseball and football, all of that type of stuff. Everybody knew. But when you making that much money, this is my whole thing with the baseball thing and Barry Bonds. To me, Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Stop playing. Barry Bonds told his story once. Barry Bonds almost, I believe, did he get the Triple Crown? Did Barry Bonds get the Triple Crown the year before, like a year or two before Mark McGwire? Or maybe it was the same year. Barry Bonds had an incredible year offensively. Because remember, Barry Bonds was, before steroids came into the scene, Barry Bonds was untouchable. He was that good. And then Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa happened, and Barry Bonds had a hell of a year, and he was just like ignored. And he was like, okay, if this is what it takes to get to the next level, I'm all in. And in the next couple years, that's when his head got big and he kept smacking home runs. But for people to act like they didn't know it was steroids in baseball, stop lying. Stevie Wonder knew it was steroids in baseball. And here's the problem. Bud Selig at the time was the commissioner of baseball. He knew it was steroids in baseball. And if he wanted to get rid of steroids in baseball, he could have done it at any time. The problem was he was making too much money. And I always said, if you really want to get steroids out of baseball, give all that money back. All that money you made off the home run race, all them t-shirts and merchandise and signature bats and all of that shit that you sold with Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. Give all that money back. All that merch you sold because of that. Major League Baseball made so much money off the home run race, it wasn't even funny. And then a couple years later, they want to talk about they trying to get steroids out of baseball after they cashed them checks. Man, get out of here. NFL was no different. Now, I will say this. When the NFL say they're going to do something, they do it. When the NFL cracked down on tobacco products and getting that shit out of the game, they weren't playing. And let me tell you, you talk about people back in the day, people used to dip all the time. Tobacco, dip, like in baseball. And then I think the NFL was one of the first ones trying to get that out of baseball. I mean, out of football. So you would come in the locker room, every NFL locker room, soon as you walk in the locker room, had a big ass poster about the illegal substances in the NFL. And right at the top was chewing tobacco. And let me tell you something. Guys used to sneak that shit like it was nobody's business because people were addicted to that stuff, man. I remember when I was in the World League, we was in Scotland. We would go over there, and then once we get started, and like the second or third week in the season, we would bring our significant other, wife, girlfriend, whatever, over there. And the one thing, all the women would come over there. They would come over there. You used to buy the 10-pack a dip. They used to call it a log because it looked like a big log of skull or whatever you chew. And they used to come over there and they would buy, these things were like 30, $40 or whatever it was. And they would come over there with like 4, 5, and 6 of these things. Same thing when I was in college. I went to school in Kentucky, so everybody was dipping. And if you dip, it would be dudes that would knock on your door at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, like, yo, you got to dip? Addicted to that shit, man. But I say all that to say, when the NFL want to get rid of something, they get rid of something. Now, they are a little hypocritical in some cases. They want to tell you no gambling, but they in leagues with all the gambling houses. So that's always interesting. So it's always some interesting stuff, man. Barry Bonds' career in Pittsburgh before the steroids would get him in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely 100%. Absolutely. Barry Bonds was that dude. Um, I think I told y'all this story before. I knew King Griffey Jr. when we was in high school. He went to Cincinnati Moeller. I went to Cincinnati Princeton, so we were like rival high schools, and we played against each other in baseball. I was a catcher and third baseman in baseball, and then we went to school together in elementary school. You know, but everybody got their stars, man. And Colts select Justin Wiley out of Minnesota, cornerback. Second team All Big Ten, 12 passes defended in 2024. So, you know what? Listen, man. I will tell anybody. You go to a batting cage, and you get one of the machines to throw at you like 90, 95. And then you understand that some of them guys on the mound who were juicing, some of them are throwing 95 to 105 coming at your neck. And to be able to take that step and put back the ball, one of the hardest things in sports. One of the hardest things in sports. I was good in baseball. I was damn good at baseball when I was younger. But when I had my, puberty spurt and growth spurt, um, and then when I started playing football in high school, my natural talent peaked in baseball. And I didn't have like a coach to really take me to that next level. My school was a football school, football and track. My school was a football school. So my football skills, I was a late bloomer in football too. I didn't start like my freshman year in high school or nothing like that. I didn't start till my senior year in high school. And based on that senior year, I got a scholarship, and the rest is history. But I was a late bloomer when it came to that. But baseball was my first love, man. I remember my dad. My dad was my coach. My dad was my first coach. Coached me in baseball when I started playing at 4 or 5 years old. He was my first coach. When we moved to St. Louis, that's when I started playing organized baseball and organized football. He was a coach. I remember my dad getting into arguments with the other team because the other team thought I was too old to be on the team because I could hit the ball so far. So, we had I was good at baseball, man. I was good in baseball. It got to the point where I stopped going this way and I start filling out, and I'm playing football and we lifting and all that kind of stuff. I was still quick. I didn't have a rocket arm. That's why my coach moved me to third base. We had a kid that was behind me. He was a junior my senior year. He was a better catcher. And I was like, Coach, put me at third. Let my boy play behind the plate. Plus, my knees was hurting, man. I played catcher because nobody else wanted to play catcher. Somebody had to do it, and I was the idiot that did it. So, but yeah, man, baseball. I could swing that stick a little bit, but I was swinging the stick, then I started running the rock. So I think I made the right choice. So, but yeah, man, look at this, man. Ain't nobody even paying attention to the draft no more. I just wanted to be done so I can see who we got, the picks we got. So we got Andrew Makuba, and who was our next pick? Let's go to the third round. They almost done with the third round. We have pick number 32. We got pick number 96. So you got the Titans are up. Maybe Pittsburgh has an opportunity to get Shador. Maybe. Yeah, Quentin. I'm looking to see realistically who would take him. Um, Pittsburgh can still take him. Uh, no, the Browns technically can still take him. The I was gonna say the Raiders. Technically, the Raiders could still take him. But that's it. I really only see the Browns and the Browns and the Steelers. Really, you ain't the only one, Quentin. You're not the only one. A lot of people feeling some kind of way, bro. A lot of people are feeling some kind of way. You are not the only one, bro. So, um, I think it's kind of again, man. It's not unusual. It's not unusual. Happens every year. We just haven't had one that got this much attention. The last time a quarterback dropping got this much attention probably was Lamar Jackson. Probably was Lamar. Yeah, Tomlin is the only coach. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You know what? Let me see something. Just to do this. Hold on for a sec. Let me go. So I want to put a poll up. There we go. Hold on for a second. There we go. I just put the poll up. We'll see. Nice. I did not see that. That's a good gesture, though. That's cool. That is cool. Uh, Give me 1 second. Ugh. Let's see if it's personal. A lot of people saying that, Ephraim. A lot of people saying that, man. So, um, it's possible. It's possible. But it, like again, it wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time. I Steelers took the running back. Ooh, oof. Steelers took the running back. They listen. There's a possibility that he might go undrafted because now who needs the quarterback? Because again, I don't understand it, and it's not a good look for the league. I ain't got no problem saying that. You can throw whatever ism you want in there. That's not a good look, especially when you got somebody that good. When you got somebody that good. Now, I will say this: he didn't do himself any favors. Um, I know a couple times he was talking about, they got the one famous clip where he's like, "Do you know who my father is?" and all of that type of stuff. And it was like, man, the best thing you can do in situations like this is just go in and just do what they ask you to do. Period. It was okay that he didn't want to throw because he was one of the top picks. He should have his own workout days and all of that type of stuff. So I don't mind that, but I knew he was gonna have issues with the interviews because he always comes off like he don't know no other way. No, he should not have. Nope. He should not have worked out at the combine. He went to the combine, did the interviews, and had his own private workouts. When you that type of player, you can do that. That's why he had so many people at his workouts. So that that tracks. That tracks. The only let me be honest with you. I think the Senior Bowl out tracks the combine because to me the combine is a cop out because what are you going to see in the combine that you didn't see on tape? So does a bad 40 time knock out a ton of tape? That doesn't make sense to me. Somebody having a bad day running a 40 time means they didn't do what they did through the season. If somebody had 17 sacks during the college football season and they run a bad 40 time, does that negate all of those sacks? I don't understand that part. I do not understand that part. So I think the Senior Bowl, you can get a better look at what people are actually good at. So, but man, people got to realize, man, professional sports is a nasty business. It is very cutthroat. And if somebody don't like you, and you really talking about a good old boy network, that stuff happens. That stuff happens. I remember we had a guy on our team on the Eagles. We went to Tokyo. We went to Tokyo. We played in the American Bowl in Tokyo, Japan. That was our first preseason game against the Saints. And there was a guy on our team, and there was a girl that was floating around camp. And it turned out to be it was the owner's niece, I believe. It was the owner's niece. Good looking girl. She was flirting and all that kind of stuff. Um, and long story short, she started flirting with one of the players on the bus or on the plane ride. Now, mind you, this is a 18-hour flight to Tokyo, Japan in 1993. No iPhones, no portable game devices, no MP3 players, no iPods, none of that. All you had was your Walkman or your Discman and a book that thick of CDs. Or maybe you brought a book to read on the flight. I fell asleep on the plane. I slept for 6 hours, woke up with 12 more to go. So we are on the flight. Now, mind you, this girl is going up and down the aisle. She's in first class because her uncle is the owner. And she flirting and she sat by me and flirting and all of that type of stuff. Long story short, one of the dudes on the team, I think, hooked up with her. And the owner found out. Now, mind you, this dude went down there and out, balled out, and got the knock on the door. Got him up out of there. Got him up out of there. Because it was like, yo, what happened to? He had a great game. He had like 4 tackles, uh, a sack, and 2 tackles for losses. Like he had a game. He had the type of game where people. That's how you have a game like that. That gets you a spot on the roster. He had that type of game, and he was out of there the next week. And we was like, "Yo, where your boy at?" And he was like, "You know." And I was like, "Whew, it's crazy." Mess with the sergeant major's daughter, but yo, this is the thing though. She was the one that was flirting. We didn't go to the front of the plane. She came to the back of the plane where all of the players were. They didn't nobody go up there looking for her. She came back there looking for us. So, it is what it is. But he got caught up. I don't know if somebody saw her coming out of the room. I don't know what the deal was, but very hard to keep something like that quiet in that situation. And all I know is the guy had a hell of a game, and then he was out. By next Tuesday, he was gone. His roommate was like, "Yeah, they got him." The Grim Reaper came knocking at the door, and he was gone. So uh, that is when we came up with the moniker, uh, "Keep your head on a swivel and your eye on your luggage." That's when I started saying that. Keep your head on a swivel and your eye on your luggage, because man, it's a nasty business, bro. It's a nasty business. And back then, Norman Brayman was he was not very generous. We are a professional organization, and you got to pay for shoes and extra socks. And I was hitting up Randall Cunningham to see if he can get. He had a deal with Nike. It was like, yo, can you hook a rook up with some size 12s? You tried to partner up with guys on the team. Herschel didn't wear a size 12. Herschel wore like a size 10. So I had to get with Randall to see if Randall could hook me up with some Nike cleats, my size. You know, it was we was wearing ponies. We was wearing ponies in the game, man. So, and then that crazy, nasty veteran stadium turf. That was real. Who was this up? Chargers selection. Who's up for the Chargers? Who did the Chargers get? Chargers got Jamari Caldwell. Yo, what's up, sis? Everybody say what's up. My twin sister is in the building. Yo, they made us wear the ponies. The ponies. They will. When I say cheap, they was cheap. I remember we signed that gone it. What is his name? He was a defensive end from San Francisco. He played his best years in San Francisco, but he was basically the poster child for somebody always getting in trouble because he drank too much. I can't remember his name. He was daggone it. He was a defensive end. Tim, what was his last name? Big 6'5", arms hanging down to his knees. Tim, I cannot remember his name. Cannot remember his name. In any case, this guy, I remember we signed him from San Francisco, and I remember him walking in the locker room, and he was like, "What is this shit here?" Because of course he coming from San Francisco, and mind you, this is the early '90s, so he's fresh off. I think he got a Super Bowl with San Francisco and Joe Montana. And he came to Philadelphia, and he was like, "What the heck is that?" I think it was Tim Reed. I think his name was Tim Reed. I think. Was it Tim Reed? Nope, that's not him. Tim, what was his name? Daggone, I can't remember his name. He was a defensive end. He played a lot of good years with the San Francisco 49ers. Won a Super Bowl with the Niners. Cannot remember his name. Tim Hardman. Nope. Tim Harris. That was it. Tim Harris. He was a defensive end / outside linebacker. 6'6". He was about 260 when he played. His arms damn near touched the ground. And when I say that's the first time I ever met a person that literally drank like a fish. Drank like a fish. And it was I remember we went to New York to scrimmage the Jets. We went up and stayed the week and scrimmaged the Jets all week. And I come downstairs to breakfast at like 8:00 in the morning. He is in the bar drinking, talking to this dude, looked like something out of a movie. He was talking to this dude sitting at the bar. This dude had a briefcase on the bar, and I go over there and holler at him. Yo, what's up, Tim? He is talking with this dude. He's got the briefcase open. This dude has all of these like fake watches and necklaces and bracelets and all this type of stuff, fake Rolexes. And Tim bought like 2 fake Rolexes off of the dude at the bar. Gave him a couple $100 or whatever. And he was drinking at like 8:00 in the morning. He used to come to practice and smell like alcohol. Crazy. Tim Harris. Yep. That was him. Big dude, too. Big dude. Yep. That's Tim. Dude drank like a fish. He was fun, though. He was a good dude. We went to when I made the team as an Eagle. We all went out to we all went down to Delaware Ave in Philly. So back in the day, there was clubs everywhere. Oh yeah, since he could play, he was good. He was good. Now he started with the 49ers. He wasn't no scrub. He played with the with Green Bay too. We all went to the club after the final cut day, and you knew the roster, and everybody made the team. So we all go out to the club and celebrate. I don't drink, but I'm just there celebrating. And he kept sending these shots over. That bartender, she must have made a ton of money that night, because he was one of them dudes that would tip like 20s and 50s like it was nothing to it. And they would keep sending drinks over, and they had this like little wooden thing that had like 7 or 8 holes in it, and they would put the shots in it and light them on fire. And they would slide them down, and they would take them out and pass out, and we would salute to all the rooks that made the team, and I would throw that shit back and pour it out and make a face and slam it down. Like I'm like, man, y'all ain't get me like this. This is how people end up not remembering what happened the night before. I'm like, y'all ain't get me like this. That joker must have brought easy 5 or 6 shots. Now these ain't the cheap ones either. He must have sent about 5 or 6 shots down there. And now, mind you, it's not just me. It's like 7, 8 people up here, and everybody drinking. And I'm like, nah, that ain't me, bro. Nah, you ain't get me like that. So, um, do I think Shador is being blackballed? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. It all depends on who gets them, if anybody takes them, or I don't know. Now, if let me say this, if he goes undrafted, then I would say yes. To me, that means somebody got it out for him, because that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Or you gonna throw the isms in there? Is it colorism? Is it racism? Which one do you want to throw? But again, you talking about these owners, the good old boys network, and sometimes they don't want to share their toys. But the problem is that when you, and this is where you got to look at where the young kids say keep it a buck. Um, all of the homework, all of the research that scouting departments do, and you mean to tell me that y'all didn't think that this kid was a good quarterback? Forget whether you like his personality, all of that type of stuff. Forget all of that stuff, because there has been plenty of times in the past where you had some unsavory characters get drafted high, and some worked out, some didn't. But you never did not make the pick if the guy was good enough. And Shador is definitely good enough. So I don't know. Um, I think it's a shame, but he should have been off the draft board by now. And it's a problem because this is going to be a black eye for the league. Watch, it's going to end up being a black eye for the league because it doesn't make sense. They do too much homework. They do too much homework. So, and then again, they do way too much homework for an anonymous report to say he interviewed badly. You know what I'm saying? And then you come to find out there was plenty of people in the past that didn't watch tape, or Johnny Manziel never studied, and all of that. Is plenty of situations in the past where people got over doing whatever it was they doing. So you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So I hope somebody picks them up just so we can end the debate. But it don't look like it, because let's look at it again. I don't see any teams. Maybe the Browns. The Browns, to me, are the only team that would draft Shador. The Browns is the only ones I can see. Again, maybe the Raiders. Maybe the Raiders. But that's it. Not the Saints. Saints got him a quarterback. A lot of people say it's Seattle, but Seattle signed Sam Darnold. Let me see what his Sam Darnold is the Seahawks. Did he sign Sam Darnold contract? All right. I think he's on a 1 year deal. He's 3 year. Okay, so he signed a 3 year deal with the Seattle Seahawks, including $32 million signing bonus, 52 million guaranteed, and an annual salary of 33. His base salary will be 5 million, 5.3, with a signing bonus of 32. So he made most of the money on the signing bonus. So they're gonna play him. They gotta play him. They paid him. They gotta play him. So they'd already invested $32 million in him. So he got his money. and he got a 3-year deal. So you're talking about 25, 26, and then they'll see what happens in 27. 27 is the last year of that deal is always the suspect stuff because number one, he got his money up front in the signing bonus. And if they want to, by then, they will know if they have to go in a different direction. So if Seattle takes Shador, he's going to be sitting on the bench unless Sam Darnold gets hurt. And you waiting for an opportunity like that. What's up, Kev? Says it just got home. Who else is how we robbed tonight? We didn't rob anybody. We took Makuba, the safety. And we got another pick coming up. LA's pick is in. Looks like man, the Jaguars are stacking up, ain't they? LA's pick is up, and then you got the Seahawks, then you got the Saints, then it's back to the Browns. The Raiders are at 34. Or I'm sorry, the 98th pick. And the Raiders got 2 picks in a row. So I don't know. Let's see. Who is that's right, it's Geno Smith, right? Yeah, Geno Smith. What is his deal? Geno Smith, Carter Bradley, Aiden O'Connell. Where is Oh, okay. So Derek Carr, that's right. He's with the Saints, and they drafted the Louisville quarterback. And the Louisville quarterback ain't better than Shador. I will say that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let's go back. Let me see. Geno Smith. Las Vegas Raiders. Geno Smith, 2025, 40 million cap hit. He got paid. Geno Smith signed a 2-year, $75 million contract with the Las Vegas Raiders, including $66 million guaranteed. Damn, Geno. I didn't know you was balling like that. They paid you a lot of money. Sheesh. His average salary is 37 in 2025. Smith, his base salary will be 24 this year. He makes 16 million with the roster bonus. So he's getting 40 million this year for starting. So the Raiders still make sense because he's on a 2-year contract. They're gonna pay him, and then you got next year, and then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go young or are you gonna go? Geno Smith is 34. Kev, no, the writing is not on the wall for Dean because Dean is a baller and Dean is a leader in that locker room. So he might get the opportunity to play. If not, somebody will, once he gets back up to speed and starts moving around, then you can see what you got. And if he can't move like he used to move, then they'll move on. That's the nature of the beast. So he's been rehabbing. I need to reach out to him. I saw him on something where he was on somebody's live stream. It was something with the Eagles where he was at a draft party, I think, somewhere. So you never know what's gonna happen. The worst come to worst, he'll end up as a backup and a special teamer and do what he gotta do. So we'll see. I know he balled when he had his opportunity, but I understand your question with Jihad in there. But you got to remember, Dean is a smart dude. So you gonna need a floor general in there to teach the kids the defense, all that type of stuff. And the Kobe Dean is that type of dude. Yeah, but it's all about what Vic Fangio is trying to play. Dean is a Mike backer, but we didn't. We played a 4-2 defense most of the time. Rarely did we have three linebackers in there. So regardless of what he is or what he played at Georgia or anywhere else for that matter, you got to look at what kind of defense Vic is calling. It's just a shame because him and Zach Bond was good together. They were damn good together. So, um, so yeah, so Shador still has an opportunity in Las Vegas. Did you listen to the call? What call are you talking about? Yes. If you look at Jahaz's tape, um, he is he is above average in coverage, and I say this all the time, and I always make a point to say this. I didn't see that Howie and Nick call, but I understand what you're saying. Um, most linebackers can run. Jahad runs a low 4.5s. He can run. He can move, but they can't cover. Covering is a different skill set. You got to be able to open your hips, change directions. You got to be able to do a lot of things because you're going up against a wide receiver or a slot receiver or a running back or a big tight end. So you have to be able to cover. Most linebackers can run, but they can't cover. Two different things. Yes, Jahad can cover. Jahad can move and cover some ground. So they said the same thing about Trot Jr. too. Seattle took milk. Wow. Wow. Yo, they clowning them. They clowning them. Wow. Come on. Come on. Come on, Seahawks. Come on, dog. And see, this is what makes me think that, I don't know what he did that would have been so bad at the interviews. I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. I don't get it. So now it looks like, so you got the Browns and the Raiders. You got the Browns and the Raiders. Kev, that's not the craziest thing I've heard, man. That's not the craziest thing in the world. Real talk. That is not the craziest thing in the world, what you said right there. Dallas should take a shot on him, especially if you're talking about in the third, fourth round. Why not? Why not? He ain't gonna take Dak's job. But wow, I did not see that happening. I did not see that happening at all. So um I'm sure there are gonna be other stories to come out. I don't know what I don't know. It's just a shame. I don't know. It's embarrassing. And that's why sometimes, man, it just pays. It just pays to just do your job. Don't say shit. But I can't. It's hard to say that because you don't deal with people. You deal with personalities, and sometimes personalities don't miss. Howie ain't gonna take no shot on Shador. Stop playing. And see, now here's the other thing. Shador wants to play. Shador wants to come in and compete. And now, when you drafted third or fourth, it ain't gonna work out like that. You waiting for somebody to get injured. That's what you waiting for when you the third string quarterback. Because you really ain't gonna never get a fair shot. So I don't know. I don't know. It'll be very interesting to hear Dion's reaction and his comments after the draft because you know he's gonna have something to say. You know he's gonna have something to say. So I'm looking at Cleveland and I'm looking at um, the Raiders because Milroe is definitely not a good quarterback. He is a good runner. He is not a good quarterback. Not even close. He is not a good thrower of the football. I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did, Kev. That's a good question. I don't know if he did the whiteboard with Gruden. I saw the whiteboard with Gruden and Dax, uh, Jackson Jackson Dart. His was not very good at all. Some people are saying that, man, but what is Prime gonna do? What is Prime gonna do? So, so you mean to tell me that everybody's looking at Prime like he's gonna be that much of a headache? He's like he's gonna be coming in the locker room and doing all that type of no. I don't. The one thing you got to know about Dion, Dion knows how the game is played. He knows how the game is played. So it does him nor Shador any justice for him to be trying to come up in there and make changes and doing all that type of stuff. He knows better. So I don't believe that. Yep. So you're gonna hear all the conspiracy theories gonna come out the woodworks now. And this is gonna be a very black eye for the league. Because it makes no sense. Because many people in worse conditions than Shador, and I'm talking about character issues, have gotten drafted. So all of a sudden they want to draw the line now. Now, well, we'll see. This if the Browns get Shador, this is a steal for the Browns. If the Browns take Shador, the Browns win the draft. They got Travis, so now you got Shador and his wide receiver. Why wouldn't you take him? Why wouldn't you take him? So I don't know. Oh, that's right. The Browns got Dylan Gabriel. Hold on. Who did the Browns get? Fannin Jr. Yeah, they did not get a quarterback. They did get Mason Graham though. No, you can't. You can't demand your pay. You can't. You work a deal because you can. Daniel, you can look back again. Look back. Go on YouTube and look back at how many first round picks didn't sign. It happens every year. So that's not anything new. That's like buying a car and then trying to complain because you got to put gas in it. It happens every year. So it shouldn't be a so that's how you know. And let me say it like this. That's how you know you're looking at the isms now. Colorism and racism. That's how you know if that's the case. Because now teams will be nitpicking on things that happen every year and it was never a problem in the past. Why is it a problem now? That's when you know something's funky. Nah, I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that at all. Prime can get away with some things in college that he can't do in the pros. Because in college, you still have a measure of control. The pros, you have nothing. You have nothing. Dan, you already know people gonna say that, but it's more to do with who he is. It's the it's the attitude. It literally is him being Deion Sanders' son. Didn't you see the interview, the press conference when he was at the combine, and he was like, "Dude," somebody asked him something. And he was like, "Dude, do you know who my father is?" It's not, it's not out of the ordinary because you can't tell me Shador Sanders is not as good as Jackson Dart. You can't tell me he's not as good. He's definitely better than the quarterback from Louisville, but the teams want who they want. The teams want who they want. And the Browns been trying to get rid of Deshaun Watson. They still trying to get rid of that problem, and they can't do it. So if they bring in another quarterback in the third or fourth round, you can do that. You ain't got to pay him a lot of money, and it works. So we'll see. All blunt. You ain't told no lies, bro. You ain't told no lies. All right, let's see what they do. Pick is in for the Browns. Who? Damn, they got Dylan Gabriel. They don't want him. Don't nobody want him. Wow. Wow. Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. Wow. Okay. So I don't know what that is now, man. Because it's you running out of you running out of teams. You running out of teams. They're gonna kick him to the UFL. Oh, come on now. Dylan Gabriel at 5'11". Come on. At 5'11". Daniel, I played in the CFL. I understand that, but Shador is an NFL talent. Stop playing. Stop playing. They took the 5'11" Oregon quarterback. They're trying to get the next Russell Wilson. That's a shame. That's a shame. There is no way this dude should have been drafted before Shador. Not even close. Not even close. Because now we trying to compare facts, and the facts are your team is trying to bring in the best players possible. That's what you're trying to do. So, but it is what it is. So this is gonna be a talking point for a long time, for a very long time. This is gonna be a talking point. So I don't understand why they're trying to ice Shador out. I don't get that at all. Dylan Gabriel, he not even nah. Oh my god. So now that leaves the Raiders. That leaves the Raiders. That leaves the Raiders. Now, Kev, not necessarily, man. You still got to be good, bro. And Shador was good. Shador threw that rock around, and that offensive line was garbage, horrible. So you you still have to have the goods, and he does. How many of y'all knew who Dylan Gabriel was? We moved back from 96 to 101. Who moved up? Who do we? So who are the Falcons trying to get? It's looking that way, Ephraim. It's looking that way. Are you a Sooner fan? Okay, okay, okay. Oh, he was down in Oklahoma too. Was he any good? See, that's the thing, Carlos. So I'm glad you said it like that. I'm glad you said it like that. And let me say it like this: teams are not in the business of drafting okay quarterbacks. Teams are not in the business of drafting okay quarterbacks just based on, they do their research, and so it's a little suspect if you ask me, but listen, they not my toys. When you're the owner of a team, you do what you do. You get what you get. Falcons pick is up. Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, safety. Unless you're the Giants. I think I had him in a couple of my mocks. He's a good player. I like his size, 6'2", 204, 4'5", 640. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Another dual threat. So everybody's trying to go to Jalen Hurts route. Is that what you're telling me? They're trying to go to the Jalen Hurts route. That's what they're doing. Oh, are you serious? Wow. I bet you. Back on it. Let me see something quick. Wow. Knucklehead. Yeah, Quinn. We're gonna see what they do next, though. We'll see what they do next. All right. So where does that leave? Where does that leave us? Did I lose ESPN? I think I did. Where does that leave us? I mean, to the end of the draft, Shador Sanders is going to be the best available player now. that's that's what it's going to be. So now let's go to the fourth round, and then again, you got to look. So now I'm looking at the Raiders. I'm looking at the Raiders. Really, there's the only team left. The Raiders in Pittsburgh. The Raiders in Pittsburgh are the only teams that could possibly want to take Shador. So I don't understand what the next two picks back to back. Maybe the Steelers. If the Raiders don't take them, then it's on the Steelers, and that's it. On the NFL draft, where you see that special comp is a comparison. That means comparing. They pick another. They pick a pro player to compare his skill set to. SPCL. I'm not sure what that is. Where you seeing that at on the NFL Network? On ESPN? Where you seeing SPCL? Compensatory picks. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what you're looking at, Dr. Shaq. That's a shame. So this is fourth round. He's gonna end up being a day threer. All right, we'll see what they're gonna do. Is the pick in yet? A left-handed guard, dude. If the dude is good, man, don't compare him to Gardner Minshew, bro. Oh my god. Yeah, I can see him as a backup. I can see him as a backup. Gino's on a 2-year deal. Let him make his money. You know, is Gino trying to hang around when he's 36, 37 years old? I don't know. I don't know. But they're gonna talk about this draft for a while. I think it's the special compensatory picks for lost free agents that started to end. Okay, okay, I see what you're saying. I don't know. We're gonna see. So who's up? Raiders are up, right? Raiders got back to back. The pick is in. Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly. Well, you know Chip Kelly don't want nothing to do with it. I forgot about Chip Kelly. Oh my God. Geno Smith. Nah, I don't see the Raiders getting them, man. I think Shiloh gonna be undrafted twin. All right, who they gonna get? Raiders taking a tackle. All right, who did they take one? Somebody from Texas Tech. Caleb Rogers, offensive guard. All right, good. They got an offensive guard, so that means they're trying to protect the quarterback. just not, just not Shador. Oh, oh my God. Um, it could be. I just got your message, sis, that you sent a while ago. But listen, don't be surprised if you start hearing stories after the draft of what happened with Shador and why. Now, the question is whether you believe it or not. Green got drafted. You talking about the tackle from Marshall? He did get drafted. So now they got the next pick. All right, the Raiders are on pick number 2. And yeah, it's now or never. Charles Grant from offensive tackle from William and Mary. Well, so there you have it. So it looks like he's the day 4 which leaves the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's it. Pittsburgh Steelers. If Pittsburgh don't take him, it's a shot he can be undrafted, and that will be unprecedented. That will be unprecedented. That will mean the second best quarterback in the draft went undrafted and was healthy and had good workouts and put good tape. I don't get that at all. And that I don't get that at all. And that's when people gonna bring out the isms on that one. For sure. For sure. All right. I'm gonna hang around in this round and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Charles Grant, former wrestler. Anytime you got an offensive lineman that is a wrestler, that means he's got good feet. All right, we'll see. We shall see. The Niners, the Eagles, and the Vikings. We already got a backup for Jalen. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Well, what did my poll say? uh nah, Kev. Stop playing. We already got a backup for Hurts. We just signed somebody. I forget what the dude's name was, but another running quarterback. Yeah, but we don't. All right, sis. I'll call you tomorrow. They made you mad. Oh my god, y'all done made my twin sister mad, man. Oh my god. DTR ain't it? he ain't he ain't got to be it. He just got to be a competent backup. That's all he got to be, and I think he can be that. Go to bed, sis. uh, all right, come on, man. These last two picks gonna be. Are we traded out? Damn it, we traded to the Broncos. Well, shit. Well, that wasn't my motivation. Okay, so now we know what the Eagles gonna do. They traded out. Good grief. What did they get? Oh my goodness. So we made three picks. That's it. We made two picks. Howie's about to go ham in the fourth and fifth rounds. He is about to go ham, y'all. And remember, he getting these low cost players because we got a man named Jalen Carter on our team that's going to require a boatload of money next year. So yeah. You know what? That might be true, Kev, but the one thing you got to remember is coaching matters. So um, you see that a lot in different places, in different situations. One player goes one place and they're trash. Then they go somewhere else and they can salvage their career or whatever. So uh, yeah. So it is what it is, man. Damn it, they're not picking. So I'm ready to go to bed now. Oh my goodness. All right, Howie. Looks like you're gonna be busy tomorrow. Looks like you're gonna be busy tomorrow. I think she's somebody that works for the NFL. She might be like an exec or possibly she might be like a Green Bay exec or something like that. I'm not sure who she is, Mel. Not sure who she is. So oh goodness, boy, they partying like nobody's business. But all right. We've been rocking for almost 2 hours, man. I didn't even realize that. We've been rocking for almost 2 hours. Denver's up. Well, since the Eagles ain't picking, all right, Dave, don't be a stranger. Make sure y'all come back. I'm gonna probably be streaming tomorrow. And that's Dawn Aponte, Mel. She is the NFL Chief Football Administrative Officer. That is her title. I think she was on the broadcast last year. Roger Goodell went back to the room, man. He trying to get a nap and some dinner. So, all right, y'all. I'm gonna get up on out of here. I'll probably be doing it tomorrow. Check out my other content. Check out the video I just put out about Malaysia. Check out the video I just put out about um let me see. I did one about Malaysia. I did one about jihad. So I got 2 videos I put out today. So make sure you check them out. Subscribe, bring your friends, tell your mom and your grandma you got a great sports podcast that they should be listening to. Bring them on my squad. I'll get them signed, put them on the team, put them on the roster. Yes, Kev, 1 week till the WNBA. I got to get my graphics together, man. I'm upgrading. So got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. So I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I will see y'all later. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll probably be doing something tomorrow. So I will holler at y'all on the next one. Peace. Go Birds.